The dog sat in the same spot every single day, by the train station gate. Rain poured, snow fell, the summer sun burned down. But he didn't move. He wasn't begging for food. He wasn't chasing after people. He was waiting. Eyes focused on the train platform, ears perked at every sound, waiting for someone. Most people didn't even notice him at first. Some thought he was a stray. Others figured he belonged to a station worker. But day after day, he returned. Same time, same spot, same stillness. The station staff began to whisper, "Who's that dog waiting for?" No one knew, and yet something about him made people stop and stare. It would take years to learn the heartbreaking truth. Years earlier, in a small village not far from the city, a retired schoolteacher named Mr. Takashi found a little black puppy hiding behind a dumpster. The dog was shaking, hungry, and covered in dirt. Takashi took him home, cleaned him up, and gave him a name, Kuro, which means black in Japanese. Kuro became his world. Takashi had no wife, no children, but with Kuro, he wasn't alone anymore. They became inseparable. They walked through the village together every morning. They sat under the cherry blossom trees in the spring. They watched old TV shows at night with warm tea and soft blankets. Takashi spoke to Kuro like a friend, and Kuro listened with eyes that seemed to understand everything. Each morning, Takashi would go into the city to run errands or meet his old students. Kuro would walk him to the train station gate and sit beside him until the train came. "Stay here, boy. I'll be back soon," Takashi would say with a smile. And like a soldier on duty, Kuro would wait until he returned in the evening. It became their ritual, a simple, beautiful promise. "I'll be back." But one cold morning, that promise was broken forever. Takashi buttoned up his coat, patted Kuro's head, and walked toward the train like always. Kuro watched him bored. He sat by the gate. He waited, just like every other day. But something was different. Evening came, and the train returned. People got off. The platform emptied. But Takashi wasn't among them. Kuro stood up. His tail twitched. He sniffed the air, looked around. No sign of his master. He waited long after the lights of the station went dim. Still, no Takashi. What Kuro didn't know, what no one had told him, was that Takashi had collapsed at work that day. A sudden heart attack took him instantly. There was no time for goodbyes. No final touch. No final words. Kuro didn't understand death. He only knew this. Takashi had said, "I'll be back." So he waited. The next morning, Kuro was back at the gate. He sat, watching every person who stepped off the train. And again the next day. And the next. And the next. Weeks passed. Then months. Then years. He refused to go home with anyone. He ignored food unless it was left far enough away from his post. He didn't play. He didn't bark. He only watched the trains. One man offered him a new home. He gently tried to lead Kuro away. Kuro followed for a few steps, but looked back, then turned around and walked back to the gate. No matter how kind people were, he wouldn't leave, because he didn't want another home. He was already home, right there, where he had last seen Takashi. The villagers began to care for him quietly. Someone placed a small roof over his waiting spot during winter. Children left treats. Station workers made sure he was safe, but no one could convince him to stop waiting. As time passed, people outside the village heard about the dog who waited. News reporters visited. Photographers came to take his picture. Tourists arrived, hoping to catch a glimpse of the loyal dog who never gave up. They called him the Faithful One. Others nicknamed him the Ghost Watcher. But Kuro didn't care about cameras or headlines. Every sound of an arriving train made his ears lift. Every crowd that spilled onto the platform made him stand. And every evening, his heart broke again. Still, he stayed. The seasons changed. Cherry blossoms bloomed and fell. Snow blanketed the ground. Leaves turned red and gold. But Kuro never left. He was old now, his fur gray, his eyes tired, but the hope inside him burned strong. He had made a promise to wait. And no matter how long it took, he would keep it. It was a calm spring morning, 9 years since the last time he saw Takashi. The air was fresh. Birds chirped softly. The train whistle blew in the distance. Kuro walked slowly to his spot, his body weak, but his eyes still sharp. He lay down gently, rested his head on his paws, and looked toward the tracks. The station worker noticed he didn't sit up this time. A few children came closer but stayed silent. Kuro didn't move. He wasn't sleeping. He had passed away, peacefully, quietly, exactly where he had waited all those years. No fear, no pain, just stillness and peace. Some believe that in his final moments, he finally saw Takashi again, that they walked away together into the light, man and dog, side by side. The village mourned him like a hero. They built a statue where he had sat for all those years. A small bronze dog looking forever down the road. A symbol of devotion, of patience, of love that never gave up. People still come to see him. They place flowers at his feet. Some cry. Others simply sit beside him, feeling the quiet power of his story. Because Kuro wasn't just a dog. He was a promise, a living proof that true love waits, even when the world forgets. We live in a world where people move on quickly, where we forget, where we let go. But Kuro held on, without words, without anger, without doubt. He waited, because love told him to. So the next time your dog runs to greet you at the door, the next time you look into those trusting eyes, remember Kuro, the dog who waited and never stopped believing.